Yes.
Yes, I love the carbon neutral goal that you have. I was interested in the drilling
Yes.
that you're doing. It sounds like it might be micro, little ones, but if you use fracking cause earthquakes, they think, or whatever. Do you know for a fact that you're not going to damage or create earthquakes by doing all that drilling in the desert?
So the question was about whether or not the drilling has some of the features of fracking, and if there's any danger of sort of causing earthquakes or movements in the earth. The answer is no. These are drills. They do not use the technology that fracking uses, so it's not injecting water into the rock. We've been working closely with the NJDEP to validate the technology. Technology has been used all over the world. We have done it really for 10 or 15 years on campus. We have a number of smaller geo-exchange systems on campus, but we're the university-wide geo-exchange systems is one of the largest in the world, and so it is. But it's a proven technology, and we're confident in what it does. It has one of the concerns of NJDEP was also would it heat up the groundwater, and we've worked with them to prove that it does not. I mean, it's a lot of energy, but it's dissipated over such a massive amount of this 50 billion pounds of rock that it doesn't have an influence on the ecology. Did you have a question there? No? Was there another question over here? Yeah.
I know the university has done a lot to add photovoltaics.
Right.
Could you give us a summary of what Princeton has done in the last 10 years?
So we have about 16.5 megawatts of photovoltaics. You see the large solar array in the land in West Windsor that we're adding to. We're now going through, I'd say, maybe the second generation where we're adding it to the rooftops of parking garages and over surface parking. All the buildings that we're designing right now are what we call solar ready, so that they will have flat roofs as much as possible, and they're engineered for the weight and the technology of the solar panels. So we're closing in, with this generation of projects that are underway, we will be at about 20% of our electrical need. We will continue to build green energy on campus, and we're excited about the greening of the grid that serves the region. And that's going to be a huge opportunity, particularly offshore wind and other technologies that will green the grid. This geo-exchange system that I explained to you, it is the most energy efficient way to heat and cool facilities using the energy of the earth. It does require heat pumps, which run off electricity. Those heat pumps can be powered from our solar panels. But the greener the grid gets, the more efficient the whole system gets. And then all of our facilities, we're designing to state-of-the-art energy requirements. So you make the buildings energy efficient. You do renovations to make the buildings energy efficient. We're doing 604 beds of graduate student housing in the Meadows neighborhood in West Windsor on the Lake Campus development, and that will be that's designed for passive house standards.
The university, really, when I was an undergrad and after graduating, proceeded really with the peripheralization of traffic, pushing it off the campus onto the municipal streets. How, given the increased size of the campus, is the internal traffic being managed? What are the goals? What are the plans?
So the question is about how do we manage traffic and mitigate against increase of traffic. When we had a dream in this generation of campus planning, we were hoping that we're building two parking garages. We're hoping that we're only going to build one, and we're hoping it'll be the last one we ever have to build. We have goals in our sustainability master plan to draw down the percentage of people who come to campus in single occupancy vehicles. For example, when we started this generation of campus planning, I think 56% of our employees came to campus in single occupancy vehicles. Penn, an urban university, has 19% of their faculty and staff coming to campus in a single occupancy vehicle. So we're trying to drive that down by providing all sorts of subsidies for mass transit and transit options for faculty and students. I ride my bike to campus. I could buy a new bike every year, but with the subsidy I get to ride my bike to campus or walk to campus. We are just also initiating our fully electric fleet of buses. We're building a big bus depot to power a fleet of electric buses. We are driving down that percentage from 54%. I don't know what the current number is, but our target is to get to 34%. So our target is actually, as we grow, we want to be sort of net neutral in the number of new traffic that we add to the campus by these subsidies and by supporting alternate ways of getting to the campus. But I'd have to have my Director of Transportation and Parking Services to give you a really good answer. And he'd give you a really good answer. Yes?
Yes, McCoy, thank you. Question for you. You just mentioned a minute ago about the whole transportation and how you're moving toward electric. What are the university's plans for electric vehicles, ride sharing, electric buses, that kind of thing?
So the whole bus fleet is becoming electric. We're now testing and licensing a full new fleet of electric buses. We've launched one or two on campus. You can see them zipping around quietly. You can't hear them, but you can see them. We also are, Ben, help me, how many electric vehicle charging stations do we have in the new garage? 64 electric charging spaces on the new garage that we built on the east side of the campus. We have a similar proportion of electric charging stations on the new garage we're building on West Windsor. So, and we're tracking and following the state regulations regarding increasing the percentage of electric vehicle parking. Their policies, by the way, are written for kind of small corporate offices or something like that. They don't address a campus, so we're working with them to translate that into what it would mean for a campus. So we're really supporting that, and we will continue to support it and be responsive to it as needed. Right here.
I like what you said about the architect's values maybe not aligning with the campus values. Do you have an example of when that happened and how you guys resolved it?
We don't have that problem. That's a trick question. It happens all over. You read stories about a kind of architectural ambitions outpacing the institutional capacity. We honestly, we call ourselves a serial builder. We are constantly building. We have a massive amount of people dedicated to building buildings on campus, and a very robust sort of protocol for ensuring the correctness of those things. Just in terms of how, I'll talk about how we prevent it now, rather than talk about. Our system right now is that when we start a project, we start with what's called a value proposition. Every single project in our current plan starts with a value proposition. That's a promise to ourselves of what we're going to deliver with that project. We also have, that's a 2 or 3 paragraph high-level statement. Beneath that, we have a set of project objectives. That list of project objectives can be 90, 95, or 100 bullets of project objectives. We use the value proposition and the project objectives as a filter for selecting the architect. We know that all the architects that we're going to invite are qualified and good architects, but we want the best partner. We want the architect that can respond to that value proposition the best way possible. And then we track progress against the value proposition and the project objectives at every major milestone in the design of a project. So that's a robust method that we've developed over time. Looking backwards, we hired Frank Gehry to do the Lewis Library. Frank Gehry is considered a risky architect. And I would say if you're an institution that's not a serial builder and doesn't have a staff of hundreds overseeing a Frank Gehry, you've probably got some challenges. But for example, we would have a waterproofing consultant on the construction site every day testing the details of the building. Everything's designed in building information technology, and so the sort of clash collisions and detection system is working. So we use all the tools of the trade to make sure that we can build the buildings technically correct, but more important is programmatic success. The programmatic success is fundamental to what we're trying to advance with the mission of the institution. We have time for one more or not? One last question back there. Oh, we've got plenty of time? Good. Okay.
How much cooperation, if any, is there between the campus, the university, and the town on things like becoming carbon neutral, efficiency with energy, efficiency with transportation? Gentlemen before said that, mentioned that you were trying to get the vehicles off of the campus and direct them into the town, which is very bottleneck. What kind of cooperation?
So I probably didn't answer that part of the question. We're not directing them into the town. We're directing them into the parking garages and trying to capture them before they get into the town. So let me just back up a little bit on that, and then I'll get to the question of cooperation. And by the way, you're sitting at the table with our legal counsel, so they can tell you about that cooperation. We also, we like to hire consultants. We have so many consultants working for us. One of the most exciting consultants we're working with is a firm called GEHL, G-E-H-L. They're a Danish firm that specializes in mobility and getting people onto their feet and designing the campus for pedestrian, bicycles, these days scooters and skateboards also. So GEHL has been a great help to us to design the campus to make it people first. They're both urban designers and social scientists. So they're helping us motivate people to use alternate modes of transportation. The other thing about getting people to the parking garages, another consultant we hired is a firm called Applied Wayfinding. Applied Wayfinding is an international firm based in London. And they're basically, if you've been on campus, you've seen the new generation of signage we have on campus. They're also experts in behavioral psychology and how people navigate complex environments. And they're now working on the perimeter signage of the campus to get people to the parking garages as quickly and efficiently as possible. We want people to come into the major arrival parts of Princeton and find a parking garage as quickly as possible so they get off at the street. So those are things that we're doing proactively. In terms of our collaboration with the municipality, I think we share values completely, and I think that sometimes approval processes are difficult. Sometimes differences of opinion will arise, but the good thing is that we engage in conversation, discussion, and collaboration, and we work them out. But they are very eager to learn and work with us as we push forward the envelope towards sustainability. And we have done lots of lessons learned and sharing with them about our lessons of sustainability. Stormwater management is one that we're really hooked on right now with the new regulations that are being proposed and discussed in the state. And so we are working with them on managing that. We have a campus-wide stormwater management system. It's another consultant we have. We see stormwater as a campus-wide system. So rather than designing stormwater for each individual building, we design stormwater for the entire campus. And we reduced the amount over time. We've put so many acres of campus under the sort of highest level of sustainability management that we're reducing the water that flows off of campus. If that could be translated into the municipality, but you can't because we're transforming huge swaths of the campus all at once. Municipalities work building by building by building and have a much slower pace and much less opportunity to upgrade their sustainability measures. So I'd say that we're fundamentally aligned in terms of visions and aspirations and goals. It's just a process to get there, but we're no different than any other landowner in terms of working through that process.
A question on sustainability. Clearly the university has a huge commitment to sustainability. Is that a factor when you're evaluating your vendor partnerships, if they have a similar commitment to a net carbon zero?
Yes. The question is, do we evaluate partners on sustainability commitments? And the answer is yes. I would say that when we select architects these days, it's interesting to see how the architectural profession has evolved, even in the last 10, 15, 20 years. And now the architects are great at telling you that they do everything. But they're really committed to it, and they put together a team of consultants that really know how to do this. And so we will really look for them to have strength in designing energy efficient buildings or through a team that has that expertise. Sometimes the architects are leaders in that knowledge. Sometimes they get there with a team around them. There are energy consultants and sustainability consultants and mechanical engineers that have that expertise. Another thing that we do when we select architects is that we tell the architects that the institution is committed to, say, diversity. Diversity among its student body population, its graduate students, its faculty, and its staff. And we ask the architect, what do you do in your practice to advance individuals of underrepresented minorities into positions of leadership, either in your practice, or in the community, or in the profession? And I tell the architects, when you interview with us, the president's going to ask you this question. So you better be ready to answer it. And the president will ask that question because he wants it coming from him, that he's challenging the architects and moving the architectural profession toward a kind of more diverse profession. And the president, every major architecture commission we have, my job is to bring 4 qualified architects to the table, and I don't care which one you pick. Through the interview, it's the president's decision on which architect is selected.
Just want to circle back to the technology, the heating and cooling technology. Is this technology being used elsewhere, and was this developed at Princeton University? I don't know if you mentioned it or if I missed it.
The geo-exchange technology is around the globe. European countries are probably leaders in this. We are probably one of the largest geo-exchange systems under construction right now and would be one of the largest in the country. So we're not an early adopter, we're not a pioneer. The technology is out there, but we are going at it in a massive way. The challenge actually is sometimes in the drilling equipment. There's only so many drillers in the country that have the technology to drill. And I think we must have most of them in the Northeast on our campus drilling right now. But we're exploring, you know, and we're always pushing forward into the future of drilling. So we're looking forward to electric drillers, which are quieter, and things like that. So it's evolving. There are faculty that we work with on our faculty who are exploring the opportunities. Our wells, our boreholes go to 850 feet. There are deep boreholes that go 2,000 feet. There's a church in New York City that has just 2 or 3 boreholes that go down 2,000 feet to get their energy. Okay. Thank you.